is a riddle for you. If 95% of AI projects really fail, how come you're already using AI every single day without realizing it? From that spam filter that saves you from Nigerian princes to the chatbot that help you reset your banking password, that's AI quietly working. So which is it? An overly hyped and catastrophic failure or the invisible success? And if you still think AI isn't real, consider this. India Today, a major English news channel, is already using AI avatars to read the news on television. Yes, a flesh and blood Anjana Om Kashyap has been swapped for pixels, and most viewers did not even flinch. That's not science fiction, it's happening right now. And if you think these are minor gimmicks, then explain GitHub Copilot. 15 million developers worldwide are now using it to write nearly half of their code. If investors are betting big on companies powered by AI driven coding, maybe the story isn't one of failure after all. Hello and welcome to Chaotic Chintan, our attempt at understanding the chaos around us. Tonight, we're debunking the myths, exposing the hype, and showing you why AI is succeeding a lot more than your armchair philosopher thinks. So here's what we're going to talk about. Firstly, how hype cycles create confusion between failure and success. And then, what that MIT study actually said about that 95% failure. Success stories where AI is already delivering massive impact. And finally, India's unique position. Denial in public debate, but leadership in adoption. Let's begin with busting the big myths. One of the most commonly believed myths, AI just regurgitates training data. It's true that AI is trained on data, but so are you. You learn words, jokes, forming full sentences from the stuff that you heard. AI doesn't need to have seen your exact sentence to generate something new. It recombines patterns. For example, it can draft an original legal contract template based on past clauses. It can generate a brand new melody after training on existing music. Or it can write a fresh code snippet combining functions that it never saw together before. It can even answer novel questions, like summarizing yesterday's news articles that weren't part of its training, because it generalizes from the structures that it has learned. Here's a famous example. GPT-5 has actually been credited with helping mathematicians narrow the bounds for the Lipschitz constant, something that no one has solved before. This wasn't in its training data. It generated a new path of reasoning that researchers then verified. This shows that AI can contribute insights simple beyond regurgitation. Pretty wild, right? And here's the technical context. An open problem in the field of convex optimization concerning the theoretical stability of gradient descent, a fundamental algorithm in machine learning. Lot of words, pretty big words, but what does that mean? In simple terms, this means that GPT-5 contributed to solving a long-standing mathematical riddle about whether one of the important algorithms used in AI, gradient descent, behaves reliably under certain conditions. Think of it like AI helping prove a safety feature in the very engine that powers other AIs. A meta breakthrough that goes far beyond just remixing training data. Now coming to this second myth, artificial general intelligence. Something that will arrive like Skynet or Jarvis. Many people expected GPT-5 to be some world-ending Skynet or a Marvel-style Jarvis assistant. When it turned out to be a smarter, more accurate and increasingly grounded tool compared to the previous one that can handle reasoning, generate original math, and even show flashes of emotional awareness in a conversation, some felt underwhelmed. The disappointment came from expecting science fiction, rather than appreciating how far reality has become. Now here's another myth. AI can't think like humans, so it's useless. Now that's too much of a stretch. And it is correct that AI doesn't think like us. Planes don't flap their wings like birds, yet somehow they get you from one place to another faster than any pigeon. AI isn't trying to be human. It's built to do specific things better than humans, like scanning millions of documents without needing a break. And finally, the myth that's been making the rounds these last few weeks, that 95% of AI projects fail. This one sounds scary, and we'll get to why it's mostly nonsense in a minute. But before that, let's first talk about hype versus reality. We've been here before. Do you remember 3D TVs, Google Glass, fidget spinners? Hype that makes everything look like a revolution until reality sets in. AI also rode that hype wave in 2022 to 2023, and now the headlines are crying AI bubble. But the truth, the tools are working. The problem is humans slapping AI on nonsense use cases like trying to use ChatGPT to sell toothpaste. As Harvard Business Review put it, calling every software AI is like calling a bicycle a jet plane. So, coming back to that myth about 95% of pilots failing, here's what the study actually said. MIT found that only about 5% of Gen AI pilots in enterprise IT delivered quick revenue growth. That doesn't mean that everything else failed. It just means that they didn't mint cash immediately. Mostly they were stuck in pilot purgatory because companies didn't integrate AI workflows. Companies chased shiny use cases like chatbots writing ad copies instead of boring but profitable ones like automating back office tasks. So it wasn't the AI that was broken, it was the strategy. And by the way, two-thirds of successful deployments came from working with expert vendors, not DIYing everything. The moral of the story, sometimes you have to call the plumber. Don't flood your basement. Now let's talk about some real-world successes. Starting with GitHub Copilot used for coding, the star of the show. Over 15 million developers use it, and surveys show it now writes nearly half their code. More importantly, it transformed how people work. At companies like Duolingo and Accenture, Copilot has cut down onboarding times, accelerated code reviews, boosted productivity by double digits. Developers report less frustration and more time for creative problem solving. It's not hype, it's a workplace revolution. Imagine a junior engineer onboarding 25% faster, or teams rolling out features weeks earlier because AI takes care of the boilerplate. That's happening right now. The next success, AI coding agents, which is the next generation. Beyond just auto-completing your code, new multi-agent systems like Anthropic Claude Code are moving into orchestration. They are reasoning about tasks, generating multiple files, debugging them, and even collaborating with humans step by step. These agents are edging closer to feeling like real colleagues. In our demo, we'll show Claude Code coordinating multiple subtasks, something unthinkable a year ago. Here is Pankaj using an agent setup in Claude Code to create a tool for our podcast. As you can see from the prompt, the tool should take a script and then search the web for sources to corroborate the content of the script. No further technical guidance has been provided at this stage. The agent immediately starts writing code, debugs the code it has written, and also generates comprehensive documentation, all without human intervention. This isn't just speed, it's a qualitative shift. Coding as a simple conversation via AI driven development environments. Which brings me to the next success story. Beyond Copilot, we're seeing new platforms like Bolt, Lovable, Replit, and Kiro. These tools let developers spin up application in minutes, with AI handling the boilerplate work, deployment, and even collaboration, and they're completely reshaping the workflow. Coding now feels less like writing from scratch and more like guiding a creative partner. Finally, let's come to the everyday work tools. It's not just developers who are benefiting from this. Microsoft Copilot has become the quiet assistant in Outlook, Excel, and Word, drafting emails, summarizing meetings, and even generating pivot tables on the fly. Copilot agents in Microsoft 365 can now chain tasks across apps, turning AI into a genuine digital colleague. Meanwhile, Atlassian has rolled out AI in Jira and Confluence, automatically generating user stories, summarizing long comment threads, and suggesting document updates. These are the kinds of tools changing daily office life, not just tech culture. Finally, let's address the topic of AI in India, where there's a mix of denial and somehow an accidental leadership. And here's where the skeptics are getting whiplash. According to a Deloitte report, more than 80% of Indian businesses are exploring agentic AI's potential. Startups like Nidamai are using AI for breast cancer detection. Reliance Jio uses AI to predict network outages for 400 million users. But here's a paradox. While India's big IT service companies are eagerly embedding AI into their offerings for global clients, many rank and file developers remain hesitant or slow to adopt AI in their daily work. This gap could become a liability. If service firms promise AI powered transformation but their own developers don't fully embrace things like copilots, agents, or ADEs, the country risks lagging in depth of expertise. And much of India's IT service work today still revolves around following strict standard operating procedures and maintaining them. Ironically, those very tasks, the rule based, repetitive, and document heavy, are the first in line to be automated by AI. So, in closing, here are some final thoughts. The truth is somewhere between hype and denial. AI is not the miracle genie that hype merchants promised, nor is it the useless gimmick that skeptics are completely dismissing. These kind of comments come up for every new technology. AI is a powerful tool that succeeds when applied thoughtfully, fails when misused, and matures like any technology through trial and error and integration. We should also be honest. There will be some job displacement. Routine and repetitive tasks are the most vulnerable. Customer support queries, basic coding, or even back office paperwork may shrink as AI takes over. But as history shows, new roles also emerge, like managing AI systems, training the models, overseeing ethics for AI, and applying creativity where the machines fall short. It won't be a job apocalypse, but there will be a lot of job shuffling. And those who adapt will ride the wave instead of being drowned by it. As always, thank you for listening, and we will be back again with another episode to understand the chaos around us. Until then, please like, share, and subscribe, and leave comments below.